Greetings and welcome to Radiger's Content Farm, the show where I, Radiger, the world's most famous and beloved SCP author, judge the accuracy of SCP Content Farm videos. Please subscribe, or I will be forced to grind you into a fine powder. Today's top commenter is Trinston, who writes, Trinston was here. Hello, Trinston, and thank you for the best YouTube comment I have ever received. Today we're going to be talking about the Rubbers video covering SCP-2094, or as you have probably come to expect, the Rubbers video covering approximately 9% of the stuff that happens in SCP-2094. SCP-2094 by Pepper's Ghost, My Beloved, is another one of my favorite kind of article, dialogue-heavy character pieces. I happen to know that our good friend PG excels at character development and beautifully down-to-earth stories, and this article is no different. Before we get too deep, though, I do have to make a sincere content warning. This article addresses things like child abuse, self-harm, and suicide, so we're going to be implicitly talking about those things. If you're sensitive to any of those topics, you might want to skip this one. SCP-2094 is about Barney, a performer in Herman Fuller's Circus of the Disquieting, and a man who can stretch his face to great lengths and swallow or regurgitate basically any object with no consequence. Through a series of interviews, he tells the Foundation his life story, how he came to work for the circus, and the fallout that led to his tragic exile from it. Present in the story are themes of abuse and control, as all Barney's life circumstances position him under the unquestionable authority of someone else, be it his alcoholic mother locking him in his house, the Foundation containing him in a bare-bones facility, or even his beloved circus, his family, who left him behind when he dared rock the boat. SCP-2049 follows the steep mental health decline that Barney experiences in containment, which is not only reflective of the Foundation's unique form of abuse, but also a pretty accurate depiction of the backslide that many trauma victims experience during recovery periods. The article is touching, tragic, a little spooky at times, and a fantastic place to start with circus lore. The Rubbers version is about a guy who can stretch his mouth out real far. Shall we tear this apart?
A clown who can vomit any insects from his mouth. A beautiful lady with blossoming flowers for hair.
Okay. I'm trying to do my best to judge these videos based purely on the content of the original article, because I don't think it's fair to expect anyone to know 100% of the lore on any given subject. The woman with flowers for hair is not in SCP-2094, but she is a canon Herman Fuller's character. So I think this is important to mention. This is Yume Kurosawa. The clown is supposed to be a version of Quincy Allicott, who is a man who vomits butterflies. It seems pretty clear to me that the Rubber lifted these two from a tale called Free Freaks, which prominently features both of these characters. Yume is textually specified as Japanese in the first sentence of that tale. They deliberately turned her into a blonde white woman. Just worth pointing out.
I'm gonna vomit a swarm of bees all over your face if you don't stop that motor mouth of yours.
Couple things. Again, this is supposed to be Quincy. Quincy is not a clown. That's a very important distinction because clowns in the Herman Fuller's Circus of the Disquieting canon are like a different species. They're not human. They're like explicitly, they're like a different kind of creature. And I know that's kind of a nitpick, but what I'm trying to get at is this is bad clown representation.
He is taken care for and given certain luxury items under the supervision of the Foundation personnel.
He pretty explicitly does not get luxury items, because he complains about it all the time.
She locked him up at home for fear that he would consume another human being, should he be allowed to the outside world.
Neglecting the very important detail that his mother was an alcoholic.
He would later be known as Manny. Freaks like me and you don't belong being cooped up in boxes.
Why are they making Manny evil? Manny's not evil, Manny's complicated.
And finally, he received love that his real family never gave. But soon, as time went on...
So, this is where all the plot is left out. Because this is where the plot of the article happens. With the character development and his whole life story. It happens between these 2 points. And as you can tell, none of it's fucking there.
I'm just doing what's necessary to keep the circus alive. It's on the verge of collapse. Can't you see?
Okay, so... in this series of videos, this is the first article that I've done that is connected to a broader story that I know a lot about, so it is a little bit difficult for me to look at this just as SCP-2094 in a vacuum. But I can confidently say that even in this article by itself, with none of the other things attached to it, Manny is not portrayed as evil. He's not portrayed as a villain in this article. He's more portrayed as someone who has a good heart, but is in a position of power and is getting desperate and starting to make bad decisions as a result. And that's just in the text of this article alone. TLDR, Manny's not evil, and this is a bad portrayal of Manny.
Manny gathered the members of the circus around and locked 2094 into a car trunk.
So this is a translation error because these are not originally produced in English. But they don't lock him in a car trunk, they lock him in like an antique trunk, like a box.
Later, when he was asked by the Foundation interviewer...
So this faceless interviewer is replacing Dr. Aniston, who is the second most important character in this article, and a woman.
Over time, as he regained his usual cheerful mood and playful demeanor...
So he returns to his normal cheerful demeanor because of extensive efforts by Dr. Aniston to restore his mental health. Dr. Aniston being this faceless stick figure character, who in the article is a very competent woman doctor.
He told the interviewer that he has also regained parts of his memory, but wouldn't say anything about them.
He does tell them. Like he tells them immediately. I hate this channel.
Remember to check out my new animation channel, The Rubber Talks, where I share my life story, thoughts, and opinions.
Wait, hang on. What the fuck is that? No. The rubber is made by a company. Do they have like an animated storytime channel to keep up the illusion that this is an individual? Hang on. Oh. Okay. Yeah. Nuh-uh. The rubber's not a content farm. The rubber's not targeting children. Exhibit fucking A. Ooh, what is Silver John? So, Silver John is just the rubber again. But for different shit that young children would click on. I hate YouTube. I'm so tired. The internet was a mistake. Just like 6069, this video leaves out everything that makes the story actually unique among articles. For example, any and all of the interesting lore about the circus, Dr. Aniston, who successfully helps 2094 out of his mental health crisis, while also being a great example of the Foundation's ethics around the wellness of anomalies, and the fact that SCP-2094 is canonically bisexual and his only named partner in this story was a man. Also, oral sex joke. And with that, it is rubric time! The rubric is an infallible and definitely not arbitrary method that I use to evaluate the accuracy of SCP Content Farm videos. Millions of my fans are asking, can we have a copy of the rubric? And my answer is, no. It is for your own protection. If you were to set your peepers upon its glory, your faces would melt like in Raiders of the Lost Ark, and I would never let that happen to my little pogchamps. Anyway, here is our tier list. Look at it. Have you looked at it? Good, let's get started. For our purposes, SCP-2094 has 4 major characters. I'm counting Manny as a major character because although he only appears in dialogue, he does have a significantly impactful presence in the narrative. It's gonna be a case-by-case basis for who does and doesn't count as a character. Sorry guys, not doing consistency for that one. The 4 major characters are Barney, or SCP-2094, Dr. O'Sullivan, Dr. Aniston, and Manny. Dr. O'Sullivan and Dr. Aniston were both removed, in spite of Dr. Aniston being the second most important character in the story. There are also no major characters left who are women. 100% woman removal. There are no girls. Barney has a whole paragraph detailing his romantic relationship with an acrobat named Theo, which, along with, you know, most of the backstory, is missing from the Rubbers video. And as we all know, removing the gay shit from SCPs is against the law. 100% queer deletion. A bad look for the Rubber, once again. For our added violence index, there really wasn't much to speak of, fortunately. I'm giving it a 2 because of the way that they portrayed the circus turning on Barney, but the rest of it wasn't too bad. The plot deviation index is pretty up there as well. Because not only did the rubber leave out a whole bunch of stuff, as per usual, but they also portrayed Manny as this evil, conniving villain, and he's not. He's not that at all. This article is about complicated issues between groups of people and systems of power, and the video doesn't come anywhere close to even touching on a little bit of that. 3. They did a pretty bad job. Tone non-adherence 4. Terrible. Absolutely god-awful. Played self-harm for shock and laughs. Butchered a storyline about trauma and mental health. Bad. Bonus round! Does the thumbnail contain a lot of clickbaity crap unrelated to the article or the video? Not really! Does the woman erasure make the entire cast dudes? Yes, it does! And good news, friends! This has also put a new flaw of the rubbers on my radar. I scrubbed through this video and realized not only did they whitewash Yume, everybody else is white as well! Most SCP articles don't actually specify the ethnicity of their entire casts, but making every single character white is a choice. Bonus points for the rubber! Drum roll for our final score. 33%! Welcome to the F tier Rubberfied 2094. And now a look at our current tier list. I wonder how accurate or inaccurate future videos will be. Thank you for watching my YouTube video. I am Rad, inventor of the SCP Wiki, and proud owner of a lowest rated article that is currently sitting at a lovely plus 69. Do not ruin it, do not upvote it because it needs to stay at 69. Do not ruin this for me. If you are an SCP author and you feel that the rubber or a different content farm has misrepresented your work, you can drop it in the comments and I'll try to get to it. I already have a list of several. You can see the names of my beautiful patrons on screen right now. I thank each and every one of their lovely faces. Also, marvelous news, the Kickstarter for Hymns for the Road got funded. I make fiction podcasts. You can check the link in the description if you want to listen to the current one. The Kickstarter one's not gonna be out for a long time, so, you know. Also, check out my most recent article. Okay, bye!